You can have the perfect morning routine. You can meditate, journal, and exercise. You can build a fortress of discipline and intention, and then a single email, a single comment, a single interaction with one difficult person can tear it all down in an instant. It's the most frustrating part of trying to live a good life. You can control your own actions, but you can't control the actions of others. And some people, it seems, are determined to be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, or just plain surly. They are the unexpected enemy of our peace of mind. But what if these people weren't the enemy? What if they were actually our greatest teachers? What if every difficult person was an opportunity to practice a specific set of skills? Skills that could make us not just calmer, but stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This is the Stoic approach to dealing with difficult people. It's not about ignoring them or pretending they don't bother you. It's a radical shift in perspective. It's a set of mental tools for transforming life's greatest annoyance into your greatest opportunity for growth. In the next 20 minutes, we are going to do a deep dive into each of these 5 principles. We'll explore the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, and give you a practical, step-by-step guide to handling the most difficult people in your life. This is not about changing them, it's about changing yourself. So get ready to turn your greatest source of frustration into your greatest source of strength. Before we get into the 5 principles, we need to understand the single most important insight in all of Stoicism. It's an idea that, if you truly grasp it, will change your relationship with every external event, especially the actions of other people. The insight is this: it is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. Let that sink in. It's not the difficult person who is causing your anger, your frustration, or your anxiety. It's your judgment about that person. It's the story you are telling yourself about what they did. You are telling yourself, they disrespected me, or they are trying to undermine me, or they should not have done that. The event is the same. Rain is falling. The judgment is different. The Stoics realized that the same is true for human behavior. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That is an external event. You can judge it as a personal insult and become enraged, or you can judge it as the action of someone who is distracted, in a hurry, or simply a bad driver and feel nothing at all. This is the foundation of modern cognitive behavioral therapy, but it was invented by the Stoics 2,000 years ago. They understood that there is a space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies our power to choose our response. The entire Stoic guide to dealing with difficult people is about mastering what happens in that space. It's about choosing a better story, a better judgment. So let's learn how to do that. The first principle is the one we touched on in our video about the Stoic morning routine. It is to I expect them. This is the practice of premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. And the most famous example of this is Marcus Aurelius's morning meditation. This is not pessimism, it is realism. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world. He had to deal with senators, generals, servants, and foreign envoys. He knew from experience that some of these people would be difficult. He knew that his day would not go perfectly. By expecting this, he was mentally preparing himself. He was robbing these encounters of the element of surprise. When you expect people to be difficult, you are not surprised when they are. And when you are not surprised, you are less likely to react with anger or frustration. You can see the situation for what it is, a predictable part of the human experience. You can say to yourself, ah yes, here is one of those meddling people Marcus was talking about. I was expecting this. Expecting difficult people also helps you to be more strategic. If you know a particular colleague is always negative in meetings, you can prepare for their objections in advance. If you know a family member always brings up a sensitive topic at dinner, you can have a polite, pre-planned response ready. You are no longer a victim of their behavior. You are a strategist who is prepared for the game. The second principle is to understand them. This is about cultivating a sense of perspective. The Stoics called this the view from above. It's about seeing the bigger picture and recognizing that the person who is upsetting you is just one of billions of people on this planet, each with their own struggles, fears, and false beliefs. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that difficult people are like this because they can't tell good from evil. This is a profound statement of empathy. He is not saying that their behavior is acceptable. He is saying that it is the product of ignorance. They are not evil. They are mistaken. They are acting out of a flawed understanding of what will bring them happiness and peace. When you see a difficult person as someone who is suffering from a kind of spiritual or psychological illness, your perspective shifts from anger to compassion. You realize that their anger, their arrogance, their dishonesty, it's all a misguided attempt to find happiness or to protect themselves from pain. As Seneca said, be lenient with the man who is a bad neighbor, a bad citizen. He is bad to himself. Understanding the source of their behavior also helps you to depersonalize it. You realize that it's not about you. Their anger is not your anger. Their negativity is not your negativity. They are living in their own world, with their own set of beliefs and fears. You don't have to enter that world. You can observe it from a distance, with understanding and without judgment. The third principle is a natural extension of the second, but it is more radical. It is not just to understand them, but to pity them. This is not a condescending pity, it is a genuine, compassionate recognition of their suffering. Seneca's point is that difficult people often have a distorted perception of reality. They see threats where there are none. They experience minor setbacks as major catastrophes. They are living in a state of constant, low-grade fear and anxiety. And this is a miserable way to live. When you realize this, you can't be angry with them. You can only feel sorry for them. They are robbing themselves of the joy, the peace, and the beauty of life. They are their own worst enemy. Their anger, their negativity, their jealousy, it hurts them far more than it could ever hurt you. As Epictetus said, remember that it is we who torment, we who make difficulties for ourselves. That is, our opinions do. What, for instance, is it to be insulted? Stand by a stone and insult it, and what have you accomplished? If someone responds to insult like a stone, what has the abuser gained? Pitying the difficult person is a powerful mental move. It reframes the situation. You are no longer the victim of their attack. You are the calm, compassionate observer of their self-inflicted suffering. This puts you in a position of psychological strength. You are the adult in the room. You are the one who is in control of your own mind. The fourth principle is the most transformative of all. It is not just to tolerate difficult people, but to use them. This is the core idea of Stoic alchemy, turning obstacles into opportunities. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is a radical idea. It means that every difficult person, every frustrating interaction, every insult and every obstacle is not a problem. It is a gift. It is a chance to practice the Stoic virtues. It is a workout for your soul. Think of it this way. You can't get physically stronger by lifting styrofoam weights. You need resistance. You need heavy iron. Difficult people are the heavy iron of the spiritual gym. They are the resistance that makes you mentally and emotionally stronger. When you adopt this mindset, everything changes. You are no longer a victim. You are a student. You are no longer annoyed. You are grateful. You can almost thank the difficult people in your life for providing you with a free, personalized curriculum for your own self-improvement. They are your sparring partners in the art of living. The final principle is a crucial one. The Stoic approach is not about being a doormat. It is not about passively accepting abuse. It is about protecting your own peace of mind. The fifth principle is to protect yourself. By setting firm, clear boundaries. This might seem counterintuitive, but Epictetus's point is that we should be very careful about what we let into our minds. We should be indifferent to external things like wealth and reputation, but we should be fiercely protective of our inner state. He said, remember that you're an actor in a play, and the playwright chooses the manner of it. Your business is to play your part well. The selection of the cast is another's. Protecting yourself means several things. It means choosing your company wisely. Seneca advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. If someone is consistently a source of negativity and stress, you have the right to limit your exposure to them. This is not an act of anger. It is an act of self-preservation. It is like quarantining yourself from a virus. Protecting yourself also means learning to say no. You are not obligated to attend every argument you are invited to. You are not obligated to respond to every provocation. You can choose to disengage. You can choose to walk away. As the saying goes, not my circus, not my monkeys. Setting boundaries is not about controlling the other person. It is about controlling yourself. It is about defining what you will and will not accept in your life. It is about taking responsibility for your own peace of mind. A Stoic is not a punching bag. A Stoic is a fortress, and you are the gatekeeper. So there you have it, the 5 Stoic principles for dealing with difficult people. 1. Expect them. 2. Understand them. 3. Pity them. 4. Use them. And 5. Protect yourself. This is not a set of tricks or tactics. It is a complete operating system for social interaction. It is a way of transforming life's greatest annoyance into your greatest asset. Dealing with difficult people will never be easy, but it doesn't have to be a source of suffering. With these Stoic tools, it can become a source of strength. It can become a practice. It can become a path to wisdom, resilience, and a truly unshakable peace of mind. This is the ultimate goal. Not to defeat them, not to outwit them, not to get them back. The ultimate revenge is to be so in control of your own mind, so grounded in your own virtue, that they have no power over you at all. The best revenge is to be a good person, no matter how badly others behave. If you found this guide helpful, subscribe to Eudaimonia for more deep dives into practical philosophy. And in the comments below, tell us which of the 5 principles you are going to focus on this week. Remember, what stands in the way becomes the way.